Back in kindergarten, I had this desk mate who loved to talk big. She claimed her family lived in a massive luxury apartment, that she had her own private piano room, and that her mom absolutely adored her. She said her mom would even pick the seeds out of dragon fruit for her, but her hair looked like she'd hacked at it herself, all jagged and messy. Living at school, she'd only eat one meal out of 3. Her pant legs were so short they almost hit her knees. Her poverty was on full display. Everyone hated her. One time while I was listening to music, she started bragging again. I was so annoyed, I couldn't take it. I just asked her, "Are you like this because your mom's dead or something?" She ended up hitting me so hard I got a bloody nose. She pointed at me and shouted, "My mom is the best mom in the whole world. Don't you dare talk about her." I covered my nose and jumped up onto the table. Fine, fine, fine. Then why don't you call your best mom in the world over here and have her pay my medical bills? Honestly, I'd been annoyed with her for a long time. Besides her good grades and a decent face, she was worthless compared to me. But because her grades were so good, the teachers always protected her. Afraid my dad would lecture me, I pinched my nose and apologized. I never spoke to her again after that. But then, in high school, my dad had just paid $100 for my tuition, and she somehow ended up in the same school and the same class as me. On the first day, my dad still remembered her. He greeted her with a smile and told us to help each other out, especially since her grades were so good. He asked her to help me more. She immediately agreed, acting like my big sister, saying it was only right for a sister to help. "I hope we can be desk mates again." She spoke to us with a beaming smile, but she was already starting to brag again. She said her mom was so happy she did well on the exams, that she was going to reward her with a new bag, bragging as usual. I looked at the ragged plastic bag in her hand, and really wanted to ask her, "Is that plastic bag the new bag your mom is giving you?" But seeing her face, I forced myself to hold back. Over the summer, many scars had appeared from her right jaw down to her neck. They looked like burns from boiling water. Once my grades dropped, let's see if my dad praises her or me. I didn't expect us to actually become desk mates. I was annoyed to death. But she went around telling everyone how great I was, telling them we'd been classmates since kindergarten. Everyone actually bought it. I didn't want to ruin my good reputation. So when people asked, I just grit my teeth and nodded. She was still bragging about how much her mom loved her in class, and even bragging in her essays. She wrote with such raw emotion that even the Chinese teacher was moved to tears. The other students listened, completely stunned. I found it hilarious. It's not like everyone's an idiot. The truth was so obvious. I never saw her top up her cafeteria card, not even once a month. No matter how cheap the food was, a vegetable dish was 2 yuan, and a bun was 1 yuan. You can't get full on free soup. Was she some kind of immortal who didn't need to eat? Sometimes, I'd intentionally buy an extra bun, or a mantou, and then say I couldn't finish it. She'd act all reluctant and say, "Fine, I'll have one." My mom doesn't like me taking things from people. She had a really beat-up phone. She said her mom bought it for her from abroad. It was always out of service. She'd constantly ask classmates for a couple of yuan to top it up. Her phone was trash, but she loved calling her mom every night at 9 p.m. When her battery was dead, she'd ask to borrow mine. If I said no, she'd ask the girl behind us, who was usually nice to her. When she gave the phone back, she'd be very careful to delete the number. "I can't help it. My mom is so clingy," she'd say. "She makes me call her every day." I deleted the number because she's very busy. It would be bad if it got dialed by accident. But once, when I checked my call log, that psycho, the call never even connected. She was talking for so long to a dial tone. She's so vain and such a liar. I didn't bother exposing her, mostly because I didn't want to lose her notes to copy. But one night when she was using my phone again, the class bell walked by and hit the speaker button. All that came out was the constant beeping of a dial tone. The class bell burst out laughing. She looked at me and winked. Wow, I've never heard of someone having a conversation with a dial tone. Have you? Always making excuses, claiming to be calling your mom when you just want to talk to Lu Zechuan. One of the bell's followers immediately started jeering, singing some old love song. "He likes you." Half the class joined in the mocking. "He likes you. He likes you. I heard you two were desk mates back in middle school too. And his family has that massive apartment. Congrats. Haha, and a private piano room. So rich. and his mom loves him so much. The mother-in-law must be so thrilled with her new son-in-law. Liu Rui's mouth hung open as she started to cry. Tears just started pouring out. But the first thing she said was, "My mom really is good to me. She's been good to me since I was little." "Don't say things like that. My family really does have a big apartment. My mom set up the piano room for me herself. She'd lecture me if I didn't practice for at least 2 hours every day." She didn't try to explain anything about the liking or not liking me. She just kept repeating those pathetic lies about how good her mom was. Those clumsy lies. I felt the blood rushing to my head. I slammed my hand on the desk. He'd have to actually be interested first. Take a good look at yourself in the mirror. I regretted it as soon as I said it. I meant to criticize her character, not her looks. But Liu Ruyan suddenly went quiet. She looked up at me. I couldn't look her in the eye, and I was too proud to apologize. So I just got angry. To cover it up, I pushed past the guys and walked out. She stopped talking to me. And that wasn't all. She wanted to change seats. During the break at the end of evening study, she went around asking every single person to swap with her. No one paid her any attention. Most of the girls didn't like her. She was messy and a total liar. The guys were just making fun of her. She kept asking, like she couldn't understand people. After going through the whole room with no luck, she had to come back to her seat next to me. The bell rang. If she wanted to get in, she had to speak to me. She had to ask me to move my chair. I looked down at her jagged, messy bangs. I'd held it in for a whole class without a bathroom break. We had a silent standoff. I spun my pen in my hand, but all my attention was on her. I just wanted her to say my name. Even just a move would have done it. Even just a cough. But she said nothing. Just as I was about to crack and speak first, the class bell said she'd swap. So she moved to the row in front of me. Her new deskmate was this fat kid, talkative and easy to fool. He was happy to listen to her brag if it meant he could copy her homework. It made me so annoyed. I'm a jerk. When things annoy me, I can't help but say something. One day, she was telling the fat kid about how her mom would stay with her while she practiced piano, saying her mom listened to her every word, that if she said her hands hurt, her mom would hold her hand and massage each of her fingers, and then blow on them. She looked so proud. I said, "If she loves you so much, why doesn't she give you enough money to eat? You're eating that fat kid's food again, aren't you? Why should he have to feed you? Have you no shame? Your mom really taught you well, didn't she?" Her face went bright red. She stood up instantly. I stood up too. I didn't even need to jump on the table. I was a full head taller than her. She hesitated, then sat back down. She still wouldn't talk to me. She turned back to the fat kid. "My mom is the best mom. She treats us both fairly. I've cost her a lot more money than my sister over the years. At least 200, if you don't count the small stuff. That's why she's so strict with my spending," she explained. She said that back when her mom was a student, she had to bring her own rice to school just to have a meal. She didn't have nearly as much money as I do. Her sister's classmates back in the countryside only had 10 yuan a week for high school. So, I am going to study as hard as I can. I have to be number one. My mom will be so proud of me. She'll be so happy. Suddenly, for some reason, I felt this unshakable weird feeling. I just gave a low snort. Whatever. So what? She didn't say a word, and after that she ignored me again. She ignored the fat kid too, and started buried herself in her studies. I felt a secret bit of satisfaction watching her, but she really wasn't eating. She was looking thinner by the day. During evening study, she'd chugged 3 whole bottles of water. I couldn't take it anymore. I gave the fat kid 500 yuan, and told him to have Liu Ruyan tutor, and to cover her meals too. The fat kid's jaw practically hit the floor. I raised my fist. "I seriously can't stand people like you, who want something for nothing. Copying homework? Is that how you're going to be a productive citizen? Just tell me, are you going to do it or not?" The fat kid shrank back and agreed. She spent every lunch and evening study session tutoring him. He used to complain he couldn't understand the teachers, but when she explained things, even I got it. Turns out we probably have similar IQs. Give me 1 semester, and ranking second wouldn't even be that hard. I really am a hidden genius, aren't I? Then one night, during a quiz, I turned my paper in early and snuck off to the bathroom to play on my phone. Right at the climax, I heard a huge commotion outside. I thought the dean was coming, and frantically tried to hide my phone. Suddenly, I heard her scream. One of my buddies grabbed my shoulder. Dude, shouldn't you go check? Your wife is about to be killed by your mother-in-law. I took off running and saw a scene I'll never forget. A fairly attractive middle-aged woman was clutching her by her jaggedly cut hair, dragging her from the third floor down to the first eye. She was tumbling down every single step. She screamed that Liu Ruyan was shameless. You're both Liu family daughters. So why is your sister so well-behaved, while you're so cheap, selling yourself to that useless fat kid for 20 yuan and a bun? The fat kid stood there, face bright red, stuttering that nothing had happened, that he'd just bought her a meal. Her mom spat insults, calling her a starving ghost reincarnated. She finally couldn't hold it in anymore. Mom, she said. Her mom barked back, as if I haven't given you enough money. I have your sister bring your allowance every month, and you're still not satisfied. How much more do you want? They argued back and forth. Finally, she cried out, just give me my dad's money. I don't want the part you're keeping for my sister. I just want my dad's share. So that was it. That was what she had been waiting for. You ungrateful wolf. Her mom was shaking with rage. She looked around, grabbed a nearby flower pot, and smashed it directly over her head. Don't even think about a dime of the inheritance. Until I'm dead, she screamed. Hot blood started streaming down her face. It was absolutely devastating. So, this was her. The mom she claimed loved her more than anything. This was the mom she was secretly skipping meals for, just to save up enough to buy her a gift. The other students were whispering and pointing. I tried to rush over, but the class bell held me back. Do you want her to get killed? Liu Ruyan looked like a wounded animal. She sobbed. Mom, didn't you say you'd treat us both the same? My sister made progress and got a summer camp trip. I ranked third in the entire grade. That's a great score. Out of more than 200 people. Mom, please just look at me. Didn't you say I could be number one? Always talking big. And you only got third. Useless. Her mom snatched her ID card and started to walk away. Mom, my stomach hurt during the exam. Mom, I just wanted some money for food. I just wanted some meat. I didn't want to faint while running. Do I not even deserve that? Her mom didn't even look back. No, you don't. I don't have a daughter who chases boys at her age. She buried her head in her hands and wailed on the ground. Thunder began to crack, one after another, and she flinched at every boom. Her mom was gone, but she still kept crying out, Mom, don't leave. I'll definitely be first next time. I pulled away from the class bell and went to hold an umbrella over her. Suddenly, she snapped out of it, grabbed the umbrella from me, and ran after her mother to give it to her instead. I was so furious I just turned and left. I promised myself I'd give her a piece of my mind tomorrow. How could she be like that? Was she really that terrified of her mom? I couldn't sleep a wink that night, obsessing over what kind of harsh words might actually wake her up. I even got up in the middle of the night to order some medicine and bandages for her. I thought, I really have gone crazy. After thinking about it all night, I found my umbrella on my desk. The next morning, there was a note underneath. Thank you, I'm sorry. The umbrella got a little broken. I couldn't fix it. I'll pay you back next time. The ribs were snapped in several places. That wasn't just a little broken. It had clearly been violently smashed. I held the ruined umbrella and felt this surge of pure rage coursing through me. Liu Ruyan never came back. She dropped out. She never paid me back for that 50 yuan umbrella. I'm a petty guy. I remembered it clearly. I tried to find her, but she had completely vanished. The teacher said she had transferred. How could she just transfer like that? After I left the class group chat, I realized she hadn't added a single friend. I remembered back in middle school, she'd gone around asking us all to be her friends, and none of us did. I was filled with regret. I went to her neighborhood to look for her. I even spent 100 yuan to rent a delivery uniform, just to knock on her door. I'd prepared 30 different excuses. But after knocking for ages, I found out they'd moved a long time ago. The neighbor said they'd been gone for a week. She said Liu Ruyan's mom had been shouting in the neighborhood, so everyone knew she'd been sleeping around. She looked at me and my suspicious outfit, and knew I was there for her. I stuttered, it's not like that. I'm just here for the money. She owes me money. The woman sighed. She said she'd watched her grow up. That's when I found out. Her mom had a marriage before she married her dad. The first husband was a handsome deadbeat, an alcoholic gambler who beat her. The beatings were so bad that she left her few-month-old daughter and ran. When she married Liu Ruyan's father later, she started longing for the daughter she'd left behind. When she was little, Liu Ruyan was allowed to take all sorts of lessons. But once the sister arrived, her mom slowly cut her off from everything. The sister didn't know how to dance, sing, or paint. She would just cry whenever she saw her playing an instrument. So her mom said, "You're both Liu family children. No one gets special treatment." Back then, she'd get so angry. She'd shout, "She's not even my dad's. Her name is Zheng, not Liu. Why can't I learn just because she can't?" Her sister didn't say anything. But the next night, during a torrential downpour, she ran away from home. She left in her pajamas without a single cent. Her mom almost went insane. Liu Ruyan stumbled out with an umbrella to find her. Her mom snatched it away and threw it. She screamed that she was a heartless wolf cub. She burst into tears, apologizing. Her mom just kicked her and left her there in the rain. She made her kneel in the rain all night while she screamed at her. Liu Ruyan cried until she was practically hyperventilating in the downpour. Even the family dog tried to help, tugging at her clothes to pull her back inside. She just hugged the dog and sobbed, too terrified to move, no matter who called for her. Finally, just before dawn, her mother and sister came back. They found out she'd been at her father's hospital. When her mother eventually tracked her down, she was kneeling in front of her stepfather's empty bed. Liu Ruyan's father's condition had taken a turn for the worse. Just as he was being rushed into surgery, her sister sobbed to their mother, saying she only came because she wanted to see her dad. Since arriving, she'd already started treating the man like her own father. For so many nights, she had longed for a dad like Liu Ruyan's. A father who cared. She didn't want the kind of father who hit people. But she didn't have that. Her own mother had left her before she was even a year old. The mom just held the sister and cried. That was the night her father didn't make it. Liu Ruyan waited all night, only to hear the news of his death. When her mother brought her sister back, she didn't spare her a single glance. The neighbor said, this poor kid had been the apple of her parents' eye for over 10 years. They loved her with everything they had. Then suddenly, the little princess became the family pariah. Her mom constantly told her she killed her father. Every time she cried, her sister cried even louder. You have no idea how much that sister faked it. She was way more calculating than she looked. She knew exactly how to bully her. Her mother pressured her every day to admit that she was the reason her father was dead. How could she ever admit to that? Her mother hated her so much, she wouldn't even look at her. She just sighed and muttered. Finally, the woman asked me how much she owed. I offered to pay it for her. I headed back to school. My dad was waiting in the office. He immediately smacked me, calling me ungrateful. I'm seriously sick and you're off doing what? I've been sneezing all afternoon. Where were you? Were you out messing around? I felt so down. I asked my dad, do parents like that really exist? Parents who treat their own kid like an enemy. He smacked me again. What are you talking about? Quit stalling. That has nothing to do with anything. What were you actually doing? I told him I went to collect some money. He got worried all of a sudden and asked if someone was bullying me. He started glaring at the teacher, then asked if I got the money back. I said no, but I told him I would, and told him to drop it. When Liu Ruyan was around, everything about her annoyed me. Hearing the guys joke about her and me made my blood boil. I wanted to distance myself as much as possible. I wanted to announce to the world that we barely even knew each other. I even intentionally talked about my ideal type when she walked in. She was the complete opposite. Short hair, small eyes, big mouth, sharp face. My friend looked at me like I was crazy. Are you okay? He asked. You like long-haired bull terriers? Liu Ruyan showed no emotion, acting like she didn't hear. But I saw how uncomfortable she was as she sat down. She kept fiddling with her short hair. Only after she left did I realize everything she had was fine. Even the long hair and small mouth looked okay now. Even the fat kids' annoying sounds didn't bother me as much. I made him explain the lessons to me, specifically the ones Liu Ruyan had taught him. Every single step. Even the tone had to be right. After a while, the fat kid started avoiding me. He looked pale. Zequan. I actually kind of like you. On my way home that weekend, I saw a stray blue merle border collie. The way it chewed grass reminded me of Liu Ruyan. Even the fur on its head looked like those bangs. I called out, "Little Willow Leaf." The scrawny dog immediately ran over, wagging its tail like crazy. I'd lost it. I usually hate dogs, but I liked this one. I brought it home. The housekeeper looked at me in shock. I introduced him as Little Willow Leaf. The class belle sat beside me, talking less and less. By the second month, she suddenly asked the teacher to change her seat. Before she left, she gave me an address for Class 3K. She told me it was the name of a high school in a remote town. The moment I saw that address, it all clicked. I stood right up in the middle of study hall. The teacher looked at me. "My dad is sick," I said. "This time it's really bad. I have to go see him." I took a night train to that city. I arrived at 3 a.m. The motorcycle taxi driver took one look at me, 6'1", and bloodshot eyes, and refused to take me to the countryside. I found a shared bike at the station, and pedaled for over 3 hours following GPS. I got chased by 2 massive dogs for half a mile. Finally, I reached that high school. It was just past 6 a.m., and breakfast stalls were opening. I parked the bike and gulped down some hot porridge. I started to feel human again. I bought a steamer of buns from the shop next door. There was a security guard at the gate. I found a girl to carry my bag, and managed to slip inside the school. The school looked run down. A few students with bleary eyes passed by, looking like they'd spent all night at a PC cafe. They yawned as they walked. I asked around and found the quiet 3rd floor. I took a deep breath and went up. Class 3, grade 10 was right there. I stood at the door and suddenly hesitated. What was I even doing here? Why did I come? Why did I bring these buns? The classroom was empty. I turned on the lights and looked down from the podium. There was no seating chart. But looking over the room, most of the desks were a mess. I looked at the second to last row, following my gut. I walked over and opened the top book. There it was, Liu Ruyan's name. Still, as messy as ever. My smile faded when I saw what was written underneath. Someone had scrawled Liu, scum in red ink. The pages were glued together. I carefully pried them apart to find blurred ink. It looked like they'd been glued and torn many times. Inside were messages of pain that had been hidden away. My temples started to throb. I was finally waking up to the truth. The smells and sights around me became sharp. I looked further, and saw her desk drawer was full of trash. Filthy garbage from the bathroom bins. The chair was broken and wobbly. One leg was missing. The desk surface was a mess, covered in tape marks. It was held together with nothing but duct tape. I moved the desk to the podium, and sat in the chair next to it. The first student to arrive was a girl. She looked like a model student. Thin, head down, avoiding eye contact. She asked me to move so she could sit. "Who are you looking for?" she whispered. I told her, "I'm looking for Liu Ruyan." The girl's expression shifted. She immediately glanced at the door. "Are you here to cause trouble too?" I told her I was her childhood friend. Through her, I finally learned what Liu Ruyan's life had been like here. Cold water poured on her bed. Books torn to shreds, forced to clean toilets. It all started simply. The day she arrived, everyone knew the rumor. She'd been transferred for being promiscuous. Her sister had gone to this school before. When she brought her sister over to the school, she bought high-end snacks for all the local thugs and school bullies. She told them the Liu family had plenty of money, and this was just a small token of her appreciation. She asked them to take good care of Liu Ruyan. But Liu Ruyan didn't have a cent on her. The thugs, feeling cheated, slapped her for the first time. Afterward, Liu Ruyan called her mother to ask for money. Her mother's impatient voice blasted through the speaker. "Money, money, money. Didn't I tell you? The money all belongs to your sister. When she was a student, she only had 10 yuan a week. I've already doubled that for you. What more do you want?" But Liu Ruyan's sister didn't live at school. She only had to pay for one lunch a day. Everyone soon realized that Liu Ruyan was broke and had no one to protect her. "No wonder you never mention your mom," they mocked. "Turns out she hates your guts." This time, Liu Ruyan didn't even try to explain. The phone was still connected on silent. She could hear her mother's tender voice talking to her sister. "If you really like that bag, let's just buy it. My baby deserves the best of everything." For the first time, Liu Ruyan bowed her head in silence. The next day, Liu Ruyan asked for directions to the bathroom. and spoke a couple of sentences to a female bully's boyfriend. She was dragged to the top floor and brutally beaten. The girl bully didn't hold back at all. "Do you know Zhang Kaiyun? I'm doing this for her. She's my boss. She told me a long time ago to take good care of you." That girl bully was now Liu Ruiyan's deskmate and roommate. The seating had been arranged specifically for this. I got the girl bully's number and called her. Her first words were a condescending snort. "What? I already have a boyfriend." I asked her when she'd be in the classroom. I told her I had something for her and to bring her boyfriend along to check it out. She burst out laughing. "Oh, really? Do you actually want to try and compete with him? I'm not that easy to win over, you know. Just come and see for yourself." Around 7 p.m., the girl bully arrived, but Liu Ruiyan wasn't with her. She was flanked by 2 other girls. They were giggling. That girl's bed was soaked last night. She didn't sleep at all. Besides, Liu Ruiyan is so ugly now. Her life is basically ruined. No one would want her even for free. When she saw me, her eyes lit up slightly. "Are you the one looking for me?" I stood up. Her eyes scanned the logo on my jacket and my shoes. A smirk spread across her face. "Who are you? I don't think I've seen you around here. I'm specifically here to treat you to breakfast," I said. The girl bully smirked and glanced at her friends. She walked toward me with a swagger. "I really haven't seen you. Who are you? Were you one of the guys who ate with Sister Yun last time?" When I reached out and grabbed her chin, she actually blushed and closed her eyes for a second. The next moment, she let out a piercing scream. Using my gloved hand, I pinched her mouth shut with one hand, while the other stuffed all the dirty tissues from the desk right into her mouth. She screamed in terror, and as her mouth opened wider, I stuffed more in it. Her stunned companions quickly snapped out of it and called for her boyfriend. The school kingpin arrived and demanded money. "You're not settling this for less than 3 or 5,000 yuan. After taking the money, I punched him to the ground and forced him to swallow what his girlfriend had spit out. He tried to hit me, but I effortlessly dislocated his arm. All those years of being beaten by my dad weren't for nothing." The 2 of them were gagging and vomiting on the floor. The weakling bully quickly called for a 3rd person, but before he could even walk in, I had him pinned to the ground. Whoever came in, I slammed them against the wall and dropped them. The last person to enter was a middle-aged man. The first thing he said when he saw me was, "I'm a teacher." I was taken to the principal's office. Before going in, I slammed my face against the door. My nose started bleeding instantly. I acted shocked, blood everywhere. When I went in, the 6 thugs looked even worse than I did. Their expressions were priceless. The principal questioned me. I said they insulted my father. They called my dad a dog, so I lost it. The proof was the recording on my phone of their howling. "You son of a dog born." They only said that because you were hitting them. Principal, look, even while I was hitting them, they were still using such foul language. Just imagine what they were saying before I fought back. These 7 guys and girls even tried to rob me. They took 30 yuan. "That's enough for a prison sentence, right? You gave it to us yourself," they argued. The thugs were relentless, demanding that I be expelled. They accused me of school bullying and using my strength to pick on people. The girl bully was wailing at the top of her lungs, refusing to settle or write an apology letter. The school, as usual, tried to hush it up since there were no cameras, no evidence, and no witnesses. So, in front of everyone, I pulled out the phone I'd taken from the girl bully and called Zhang Kaiyun, Liu Ruiyan's sister. It rang for a while before she finally picked up. I kept my side on mute. The first thing she said was, "Didn't I just give you money? If you want more, you'll have to send new photos." 2 seconds later, Zhang Kaiyun sounded annoyed. "Honestly, all you do is hit her or pour water on her? It's so unoriginal. Didn't I tell you to find my trashy biological father? He's the best at breaking people. It's better if he takes this dear sister of mine back, so she can finally live the life I had to endure. Then, her coming here won't be a total waste." I turned to look at the principal. His face was pale. I demanded that these thugs kneel and apologize to Liu Ruiyan. It wasn't hard to make happen. The principal said as long as it didn't leak out, and I deleted the recording, it wouldn't be an issue. At the stairs leading to the classroom building, the girl bully's expression flickered with 1,000 emotions. But eventually, she and the others knelt down. Students passing by were whispering and pointing, looking back and forth. When Liu Ruyan walked over, her instinct was to avoid them, but the principal's assistant stopped her and gestured for her to keep walking forward. She walked past with her head down. The thugs' faces were grim and unwilling, but they had to force out her name with a fake smile. "We were wrong before. We're sorry." Liu Ruyan was stunned. She just stared at them blankly. They were trying to smile. "We're sorry," but the malice in their eyes was plain to see. These kinds of thugs only bully the weak. They have no honor. There was no way Liu Ruyan could stay in this place anymore. Crossing the bridge from the administrative building to the classroom, I suddenly ran into Liu Ruyan coming up the stairs. I stopped on the first step. In the shifting light and shadow, her face was suddenly bathed in sunlight. She was slowly walking up along the edge of the stairs, her hand subconsciously covering the faint scar on her neck. She was even thinner than before. Her gaze brushed past me as she continued up, but after a moment, she looked back at me. She walked a few more steps and looked back again. On the third time she finally confirmed it. "Lu Zehuan, what are you doing here? How have you been lately?" Her eyes immediately darted away. "I'm doing great. I'm okay." Lying again. I just looked at her. Her face had gotten even smaller, making her eyes look huge. Her hair had grown a bit longer, covering part of the scar on her neck. She looked at me too. After a few seconds, it was like she'd been thinking about something for a very long time. She seemed to snap back to reality and started digging into her clothes. She dug and dug, eventually pulling out a few crumpled bills. "I remembered," she said. "I still owe you 50. I'd never forget that voice." I took a step down the stairs. She took a step up. I reached out my hand. She reached out hers too, her eyes fixed on the money. Tens, fives, and ones, all neatly folded. That thin hand looked like it would snap if I touched it. I grabbed her wrist firmly. Her eyes widened in surprise. At that moment, the school bell rang out. With a piercing shrill, he suddenly seemed to realize something. He saw the bloodstains on my soaked shirt. He glanced back at the spot where the thugs had just knelt to apologize. His mouth opened as if to speak, but I just led him straight out of there. I walked into the classroom and started pulling out her backpack, packing her books, one by one. Liu Ruyan just stood there, motionless. It wasn't until I kicked aside a piece of her vandalized desk that her eyes suddenly went red. As we walked out, students, teachers, and even the principal just watched us. "Let's just find you a new school," I said. The tears finally started streaming down her face. When the car arrived, the driver kept shooting me looks, reminding me to mind my tone. My dad's face was grim. He looked at me first, then at Liu Ruyan. I reminded him, top 10 in the grade. No, top 3. My dad took a deep, cold breath. He handed me his tablet. I checked into these. Well, all these schools are pretty decent. On the way back, my dad sent me a WeChat message. "Are you into her?" I shot that down immediately. "No way." My dad snorted from the passenger seat. A moment later, he sent another dog photo. "Then why are you raising her dog?" He had even found an old photo of Liu Ruyan with her blue Merle border collie. The girl and the dog in the photo were both beaming. The sunlight reflected off her face. A complete contrast to the tragic mess she had described before. When it comes to investigations, my dad has always been thorough. I knew he was watching me, but in that moment, I couldn't look away. I finally replied, "Would you believe me if I said it's a coincidence?" My dad just snorted again. Liu Ruyan looked a bit awkward and glanced at me. I blurted out, "Don't overthink it, Ruyan. And definitely don't flatter yourself. I'm purely helping you to help my dad. His company hasn't met its quota for charity work this year yet. He's been stressed out about it." My dad didn't snort this time. He just squinted at me through the rearview mirror for 3 seconds and texted back a single word, "Sissy." The old man's heart was already jaded. He couldn't understand the pure chivalry of youth. He just sees a pretty girl and jumps to conclusions. Helping her was the same as picking up little willow leaf. Yeah, exactly. That was it. Liu Ruyan was initially worried her mom would look for her. She was anxious, but it never happened. She went from calling the old school every week to once every 2 weeks, then once a month. She hadn't seen her mother for ages. During winter break, to earn living expenses, she took a job as a server at a hotel. Turns out her sister was having her adult ceremony there. She came home very early that day, She cooked dinner early and left a note saying she was tired and wanted to sleep. I knew she was lying the second I saw that note. Later that night, the lobby manager called my dad. I heard a few snippets and went straight to the security room to check the footage. In the video, she was trying to leave with her head down. But Zheng Kaiyun, in her fancy gown, called her out. Her mom walked over, wine glass in hand. The first thing she did was scold her, working as a server. Who are you trying to impress with this act? Are you just determined to make your sister look bad in front of everyone? Acting all pathetic. For whose benefit? Did I starve you? Did I let you go thirsty? You're just here to slap me in the face. I'll never forget the tragic look in her eyes as she watched her mom. When the manager hurried over, she actually managed to apologize. I'm sorry, manager. I've caused trouble for you. That only made her mom angrier. She slapped her across the face. You shameless thing. You'll apologize to a stranger. But you're nothing but stubborn with your own family. Did you apologize for killing your father? Did you apologize for making your sister cry? You even claimed your sister was the one who upset him. Get out! Just get out! She started shouting to the other relatives about how Liu Ruyan failed her exams, stole money from home, and drove her father to his grave. She claimed she was rotten to the core, spending all her money in 3 days, and couldn't even stand her own sister, constantly telling lies behind her back. With such bad grades and no respect for eldercy, who could ever count on her? Her sister, Ever the actress, interjected. It's okay, Mom. She's still young. She's just throwing a tantrum because she wants money. Don't upset yourself. That made her mom even more livid. Fine, let's see just how stubborn you really are. You want money, right? Since you think you're so independent, then don't ever come to me for another cent. She forgot that the last time Rian asked for an allowance was already 2 months ago. She forgot that her younger daughter wasn't even 18 yet. She was still a student. Even with the appetite of a bird, she still needed to eat every day. She even forgot those recordings of Zheng Kaiyun I'd given her, and my warning to see her eldest daughter for who she really was. Bias blinds us. Love makes us fools. The music swelled, and the adult ceremony continued right on schedule. As Liu Ruyan walked out of the hotel, the birthday cake was being wheeled out. Happy birthday, Liu Yunyun was written in chocolatey. That was the new name. This was the new name her mom gave her sister. Her sister wanted a father, so her mom gave her one, sheltering her under her own protection, giving her a name, giving her a home. Her mom claimed to be fair, but she gave everything to that manipulative bully. When I got home, my head was still pounding. I saw the dishes on the table were still covered. I thought about it, then poured 2 large cups of hot water. I went up to her room. The door wasn't locked. I knocked, waited a bit, then went in. The curtains weren't drawn. The moonlight flooded the room, clear and bright. There was a small lump under the covers, trembling slightly. I set the water on the desk. From under the blankets, she said, feelings change. Outside, the wind picked up, making the branches rustle. The lecture I had planned died in my throat. What you liked before, you might not like now. And what you hated, you might start to love. People always change. What was she even talking about? My ears suddenly felt hot, like I'd seen a ghost. But some feelings never change, Liu Ruyan added. Don't you agree, Lu Zhehuan? Hearing my name, my whole face started to burn. Yeah, I muttered. Some things might stay the same. She pulled back the covers and sat up, her face drenched in tears. She looked at me. Lu Zhehuan. Then why did everything change for me? Her phone screen was lit up, showing a social media post. It was a photo of her sister with a caption. So sickeningly sweet. My most beloved daughter. All of that, every bit of it, used to belong to Lu Ruyan. Her mom claimed she'd had it too good for too long. She'd calculated everything. Allowance, boarding fees, tuition, and even after rounding down it was still hundreds of thousands more than her sister. She said sending her to the countryside was a lesson in gratitude, a way to make her remember the hard times. She'd only let her come back once. She stopped talking back, and her sister finally accepted her. But do you have any idea what Zheng Kaiyun is really like? Liu Ruyan said her sister always looked so pitiable, but every word she said, everything she did, was like nails on a chalkboard. She was constantly being baited into fights, yelling at her sister to get out, only to be slapped to the floor by her mother. Her sister put birth control pills in her food. stuffed condoms in her backpack, and at 11 p.m. called all her teachers one by one. She'd say, even though she's dating and reading smut, please don't be biased against her, Rao. She's still a good student at heart. That time, during the summer after 9th grade, her sister was boiling water for instant noodles. As she carried it over, she accidentally let the boiling water splash all over Liu Ruyan, who was just sitting there. It scalded her from her jaw all the way down to her neck. While Liu Ruyan was screaming in pain, her sister started crying even louder. Clutching her reddened hand, she sobbed to their mother, "Mom, today is your birthday. I just wanted to make some noodles for you. It's only right that Ruyan is angry. Please don't blame her." Liu Ruyan snapped and screamed, trying to hit her, but her mother grabbed her by the neck and dragged her out. That left a permanent scar under her chin, and she lost the right to live at home. Her mother told her she couldn't come back until she got into a university. Liu Ruyan turned her head toward her pillow, soaking it through with tears. It was the first time she had cried like that, completely silent, just tears falling while she talked. Finally, she asked me. My mom didn't believe me. She said I was just jealous. That I looked down on her and her daughter. "I believe you," I said. After a while, Liu Ruyan whispered, "Thank you. I'm going to get into a university. We're both going to get into really good schools." I handed her the glass of warm water I'd let cool. Liu Ruyan never went back home again. She kept a notebook where she logged every expense. She recorded every cent, even tracking my spending for her. Because I insisted, we split everything 50-50. I often look over that notebook, sometimes reminding her, "Hey, you missed a Coke. The one I bought on the road. I only had one sip, and you drank the rest. That's 3 yuan. Just to keep things light, she stopped working part-time and focused entirely on her studies. During the winter break of 11th grade, on my suggestion, she went for a scar revision surgery. She had the scar on her face removed. After a month of bandages, they finally came off. Her hair grew as fast as her grades improved. By our senior year, her long hair reached her waist. After watching us for 2 months, my dad finally believed in our revolutionary friendship. He started being way too enthusiastic with Liu Ruyan again. "Since you're classmates, you should help each other out. As his big sister, just scold Zequan if he messes up or hit him if he doesn't listen. Give him a good one. He's thick-skinned." It was getting ridiculous. "Dad, she's only 20 days older than me." "So what? She's still older than you. But I was born premature. Technically, if you count from the date of conception, I am the big brother. She should be calling me GG. I don't know what my dad was thinking, but he turned to look at my mom's photo. His face turned slightly red. "Just shut it, you." On the day of the Jiao Kao, we were in the same testing center. When I walked out after the final exam, I ran into 2 classmates on the way. They asked me for the answer to the last question. When they heard it, they both groaned. "Zehuan, everyone says that one is definitely wrong." I knew I shouldn't have changed it. The school gates were buzzing with excitement. It was a total zoo out there. Someone mentioned that the school beauty was testing here too. My buddies insisted on squeezing through to see. Since it's over, there'll probably be some live confessions. Wonder which lucky dog gets her. I walked over, just in time to see Liu Ruyan turning around. My buddies were stunned for a second, as if they recognized her. Liu Ruyan started walking toward us. My friend took a deep breath, puffing out his chest. "She's coming this way. Holy crap. I knew washing my hair today was a good call. What do I say? Wait, what do I say? Should I introduce myself first?" Liu Ruyan stopped right in front of him. "Shuling," my buddy started stuttering. Haha. How was the exam?" Liu Ruyan smiled. "It was okay. What do you want for the celebration dinner tonight?" "I'll cook." My buddy finally went dead silent. When the results were released, Liu Ruyan stared at her score. It was blocked. This only happens to the top 50 scorers in the province. After my dad praised her, he gave me a rare compliment. "At least you didn't embarrass your mother. This score is decent." When he asked about our university choices, I subconsciously glanced at Liu Ruyan. My dad privately asked me, "How much longer are you going to chicken out?" I showed him that note. If I speak up now, how is that different from taking advantage of her? Besides, business is business. If we get together, these will just become bad debts. That's just not right. I said with a straight face. "Am I right, Dad?" "Right," my dad muttered. "Right as rain, you brata." I looked down at Little Willow Leaf, wagging its tail. Little Willow Leaf, do you think I'm right? Little Willow Leaf just lifted its leg and peed on my foot. Perfect. And just then, Liu Ruyan's mother, who had been Mia for ages, suddenly remembered she had a daughter. She wanted her to come back for a bit, saying they were family after all, and that she missed her. Liu Ruyan stared at that text for a long time, especially that part about missing her. Her eyes grew a bit red. She looked at me. I said, it's up to you. Go see her if you want. It's not like it'll kill you. Maybe my mom finally found out I wasn't lying. Maybe she knows the truth now. Maybe she actually does miss me. She whispered, you know, when I was little and liked to sleep in, my mom would make up excuses to the teacher for me. I was such a picky eater, and I hated anything with skin. So she'd peel the steamed buns, and even the corn for me. She even had a recipe book full of things I like. Children starved of love always cling to illusions. A heart once wrapped in love always yearns to return to the way things were. Her mother even asked what she wanted to eat, promising to make it personally. She said she wanted the fried meatballs from her childhood. The new address was in an upscale community. Her mother had rented it, claiming it would help her sister find a better husband. I waited downstairs for her, and then I saw her sister returning. Up close, Zheng Kaiyun's face was buried under heavy makeup, her manipulative nature written all over her. She didn't really have an expression as she passed me. But then my car keys happened to drop on the ground. She reached down to pick them up, and a little fake sweet look appeared on her face. Do you live in this community too? I haven't seen you before. I have a place here, but I don't stay much. My name is Li Yunyun. Nice to meet you, she said with a forced gentleness. After adding her on WeChat, I blankly scrolled through her moments. Food, travel, inspirational quotes, and high-maintenance poses. Her latest post was, what do you do when a relative you hate suddenly shows up and won't leave? Help. Below, she'd replied, I know, right? She's so calculating, ruining her own face just to frame someone else. Of course, we have to be careful, but everyone already knows what she's really like. I went back to watching Liu Ruyan's live stream. I had strictly insisted on this, scared she'd be mistreated. I wanted to be her witness. She was using a burner account with 0 followers. I was the only viewer. She reached the door and saw the digital lock. She thought for a second, then entered her sister's birthday. The door opened to a room full of noisy relatives, people from her grandma's side and her sister's side. Her mother was busy in the kitchen. Liu Ruyan stood there for a moment. Her mother came out, actually wearing a smile. Liu Ruyan was a little taken aback. Her mother said her sister would be home soon, and that the whole family would have a meal today. The table was massive. Liu Ruyan looked around her. In the 3-bedroom flat, her mother and sister shared a room, and another room had been turned into her sister's walk-in closet. After looking for a while, she asked her mother, where is Dad's photo? The new house is for good vibes. Why clutter it with photos of the dead? She snapped. The house was packed and rowdy. Liu Ruyan walked over to her mother's vanity. Her expression grew darker by the second. She searched through it for a long time. Finally, she found a single black and white photo. Right then, her sister walked in. The whole room swarmed Zheng Kaiyun. They couldn't stop praising how pretty she was, how brilliant she was at school, and how amazing it was that she was going to study abroad. Seeing her eldest daughter back, the mother immediately revealed why she'd summoned Liu Ruyan. Since Zheng Kaiyun's major was a dead end, she was preparing to study overseas. Claiming Liu Ruyan had been well-behaved lately, she decided to give her a chance. She wanted her to go as her sister's study assistant, basically, to be her maid. Liu Ruyan went eerily calm. I just finished the Jiukao, she said. Her mother scoffed. It's not like you'll get a good score anyway. Why waste money on some third-rate college? Better to go abroad and see the world. Another relative asked, well, what was your score? Liu Ruyan said her score was shielded. They all burst out laughing. Shielded? That just means you got caught cheating and got a 0? They kept pressuring her. Look, we're not asking for free. If you go, your mom will buy you $1 million insurance policy. Liu Ruyan asked, and who's the beneficiary? Family, obviously, her mom said. Now sign it. I watched the view count on the live stream explode. Followers were pouring in. The comment section was losing it. No way. Is this actually real? This is too messed up. That's her mother? What the hell? Are these people blind? The younger sister is way more stunning than the older one. This is a whole new level of insanity. Wait, I know that girl. She goes to my college. Doesn't she always claim to be a rich, only child? The audacity is real. The younger sister is really going through it. She's a top 50 student, and they want her to be a maid for a dropout at a diploma mill. This mom is definitely a stepmom from hell. Sending a rocket? Hang in there, sis. Don't let them win. The food was served. Everyone gathered around the large table in the living room. Liu Ruyan stared at the dishes in silence. Seeing the spread, I immediately called her. She looked at her phone and hung up. Then she picked up her chopsticks. I called again. She hung up again. She started eating. The table was covered in shrimp, fried shrimp balls, shrimp with glass noodles, poached shrimp, spicy shrimp, braised prawns, shrimp and corn. Liu Ruyan was severely allergic to shrimp. Her mother had known this since she was a child, yet she made all of this. Because Zhang Kaiyun loved it. Because she was terrified that Zhang Kaiyun would think she was being biased. Her mother did it on purpose, and she knew it was on purpose. But she kept eating, bite after bite. She ate until her mother went silent. Everyone at the table stared at her. Even Zhang Kaiyun put down her chopsticks. The mother's mouth opened as if she wanted to say something. Liu Ruyan just looked at her, waiting for her to speak. Red spots began to flare up on her skin. They spread rapidly across her cheeks. Her mother never said a word. She just watched her in silence, frowning at her. In that moment, every hidden hope she'd ever had for her mother died. Liu Ruyan kept moving her chopsticks. Her gaze was calm, almost funeral-like. It was a silent memorial for a dead relationship. Until I kicked the door open. She slowly turned her head. Zhang Kaiyun jumped up. You, how did you get here? I walked over and pulled Liu Ruyan up. They're not worth it, I said. She looked up at me, her breathing shallow. She was struggling to speak. The headache and nausea were clearly hitting her hard. She swayed on her feet, unable to even stand straight. I scooped her up and turned to leave. Her mother blocked my path. You're not going anywhere. Who are you? You don't leave until you explain yourself. With that, the other relatives started to close in. Yunyun, said the moment she arrived, her mother shouted. Liu Ruyan went straight to my room. How do I know she didn't steal something? I'm searching her first. Anaphylaxis doesn't wait for permission. The ambulance was already on its way. Another relative reached out to grab Liu Ruyan. I kicked him square in the gut. Who do you think you are, touching her? They all swarmed me. Fine. By the time the medics arrived, I was covered in soup. My eye was swollen, and the place was a wreck. But the relatives had it worse. Bloody noses everywhere, and I'd stuffed their mouths with shrimp. I threw off my stained jacket so I wouldn't mess up Liu Ruyan's clothes. I picked her up again. Go, go, go. Don't just stand there, give me a hand. We got to the hospital, but her mother wouldn't let it go. She called the police. She claimed she didn't know me, and wanted me arrested for breaking and entering, and armed robbery. The officer looked at my soup-stained self, and asked what I'd stolen. I stole a table full of shrimp, I said, and then I fed it to the whole family. Does that count as a crime? The mother's jaw was literally shaking. Finally, she blurted out that I'd kidnapped her daughter. I almost laughed. I wrapped Liu Ruyan's spare jacket around myself. Your daughter? I asked her. Just because you gave birth doesn't make her yours. All these years, the money you spent on her wouldn't even cover your surgery bills. Do you even know what she went through these past 2 years? Did she ever have one decent meal? You married a loser and ruined your first daughter. So, you make her suffer to compensate. You let her face get scarred and dumped her in the middle of nowhere. You cut off her allowance and then bought that insurance policy with your golden child as the beneficiary. Were you planning to kill her off abroad for the payout? She's such a good girl. If you had a shred of a conscience, you couldn't have done this. I called you and told you about the bullying. I sent you the recordings. Did you look at them? Did you care? Now you're saying I stole your daughter. Yeah, I took her. So what? The mother absolutely lost it. What do you know? What do you know about anything? Do you have any idea what Yunyun went through back then? While Liu Ruyan was drinking milk and living the high life. Yunyan was in the countryside eating dog food. While Liu Ruyan was playing the piano, Yunyan was collecting scraps. She got 10 years of luxury. What about Yunyan? She lost everything before she was even a year old. She suffered so much. Is it a crime for her to want some fairness? What does that have to do with her? I sneered. Your other daughter's misery. That was your doing. You chose the loser. That's not Liu Ruyan's fault. It's not her father's fault either. And you still have the nerve to call her Liu. Zheng Kaiyun has zero right to that name. The officers' faces were a map of mixed emotions. A patient nearby had forgotten to mute their phone. The volume from the live stream was incredibly loud. I'd almost forgotten it was still recording. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Zheng Kaiyun finally noticed. She frantically opened the app when she saw the trending topics. Her smugness turned to sheer terror. She burst into tears. Mom, they did it on purpose. I'm ruined. How can I ever show my face? Liu Ruyan's mother let out a blood-curdling scream. You're determined to destroy my daughter. I'll kill you. I ducked behind the nearest officer. Help! Officer, she's crazy. When Liu Ruyan woke up in the ward, she found she'd inherited an account with hundreds of thousands of fans and endless memes of my heroic moments. The donations and rockets were insane. It was enough to directly cover her tuition all the way through grad school. Liu Ruyan stared at it all in total shock, and then insisted on giving me half. I refused. She handed me that expense notebook. This is what you're owed, she said. You have to take it. I felt a bit of a hollow feeling. Fine. Let me double-check the math first. Maybe the numbers are off. Maybe you still owe me money. Once she was feeling better, the police came by for a routine statement from Liu Ruyan. They asked why I'd broken into a private residence. Liu Ruyan said with a raspy voice. He didn't break in to rob anyone. We know each other. You do? Then what's your relationship? The young officer looked serious. Entering a private home without cause is considered picking a fight. It could lead to detention. Liu Ruyan looked panicked. It wasn't without cause. He's my boyfriend. The officer cleared his throat. He gave me a knowing look. Ah, I see. So it's just a family dispute. My face suddenly felt hotter than when the soup hit it. The only thing Liu Ruyan took from the Liu house was the photo of her father. She blocked her mom and changed her number. When the Jiaokao honors list came out, the school posted a big celebration notice. As Liu Ruyan's legal guardian, her mom still managed to get the news. Since she couldn't reach Liu Ruyan, she actually called me. Is it true? Liu Ruyan ranked first in the whole school. Her grades are that good. Didn't her sister say she cheated on her midterms? Your shameless daughter drugged her drink. That's the only reason she did poorly. Oh wait, didn't she tell you that? Even then she still got into a top school. Her mom went silent for a second, then said the school wanted her to share her parenting secrets. They want me to bring her with me. Can you help me? I burst out laughing. Have some self-respect, lady. During Liu Ruyan's first year of Un'Ain, Zheng Kaiyun was failing out of hers. She couldn't keep up and wanted to drop out. She threw a fit about wanting to go abroad for an exchange. Her mom had the nerve to come find me again. She wanted Liu Ruyan to agree to sell the house. The house was bought by Liu Ruyan's father, and at the time, the title was put in Liu Ruyan's name. Over the years they'd bled the estate dry, but it wasn't enough for them. I asked Liu Ruyan. She thought about it and agreed, then hired a lawyer to handle the power of attorney. Her only demand was simple, a strict legal split of the inheritance. Her mom harassed me with calls. I counterattacked by hiring some pro-gamers to spam her back. A few rounds of that, and she finally went quiet. She even tried to go to Liu Ruyan's university to make a scene, but security hauled her out before she could even get in kit. After a month of Zheng Kaiyun screaming and crying, her mother gave in. The first thing Liu Ruyan did with the money was move her father's grave, cutting the final tie between them. But I didn't expect that Zheng Kaiyun didn't actually go abroad. She took the cash and just moved to a different city. When I ran into her in Haishan, she was hanging out with some rich second-gen kids. Looking like she was part of the club, she stepped into a corner to call her mom, asking for this month's allowance. She said living abroad was more expensive than at home, urging her mom to send money fast. Whatever excuse her mom made, Zheng Kaiyun just lowered her voice to complain. But you gave Liu Ruyan such a big cut. Is this how you show favoritism? If you really cared about me, why wouldn't you give me the rest of your retirement fund? You're only a few years away from collecting pension, anyway. Mom, I've met a really wealthy guy now. And he really likes me. He's way richer than Liu Ruyan's guy. You want the best for me, right? Right? Whatever the other side said, Zheng Kaiyun hung up with a satisfied smirk. She adjusted her expression and walked coolly back to the group. Why the long faces? Dinner is on me today. Gender equality, right? I can't stand girls who just mooch off guys. A guy reached out and pulled her closer, laughing. I knew that guy. The second son of his family. A total failure in business and academics, but a pro at partying and chasing girls. His parents planned to leave everything to the eldest. They only had 3 rules for him. Don't join the family business. Don't go to jail. And don't start a company. I told all of this to Liu Ruyan. She just snorted and said Zheng Kaiyun was going to get played hard. She squished little Willow Leaf's face. You're so immature, she teased. Staking out a bar for 3 hours just for gossip. Honestly, I thought she was smarter than this. Hand me a can of food, she said. Little Willow Leaf was good today. Let's give him a treat. I thought you said he needed to lose weight. Life is short for a dog. Let him enjoy the moment. 3 months later, that rich kid got married. Supposedly a shotgun wedding. My dad got an invite. I thought the bride would be Zheng Kaiyun, and I'd even prepared a special gift, but it turned out the bride was someone else. The kid might be dumb, but his mother's generation is as sharp as they come. Aside from the info I gave her, she'd done her own digging. At the wedding, Zheng Kaiyun showed up to make a scene. She clutched her stomach. You can't marry her just because she's pregnant. I'm carrying Akao's baby, too. And it's a boy. Your eldest son only has a daughter. Don't you want a grandson? The sister-in-law looked livid. Zheng Kaiyun wouldn't let up. That's when the mother stepped in. The secretary, quickly, brought over a folder I'd put together. She slammed it right onto Zheng Kaiyun. It was all there, in black and white. Records of her bullying classmates in middle school. CCTV footage of her messing around with thugs, evidence of her driving 2 girls out of high school, and her fake study abroad credentials. She wasn't nearly smart enough to get in. Her overseas education was just a long vacation. She was a complete fraud. Her status as a rich landlord was fake. She was just renting. She rented in luxury complexes to pretend to be an owner and social climb. Zheng Kaiyun's face went white. She looked at Akao and started sobbing. But I only did it because I love you so much. I just wanted to be good enough for you. Is that a crime? I'm having your baby. Ah, Kao was livid. You were seeing 3 guys at once. I always used protection. There's no way that kid is mine. Zheng Kaiyun looked pathetic. She stared at Akao's mother. Tears streamed down her makeup-caked face. You just hate the poor. You only care that I don't have money. Is love not allowed in this world without cash? As she spoke, she kept her phone raised. Clearly live streaming the whole thing? Likely trying for a Hail Mary to become some viral influencer. The mother looked at her coldly. This has nothing to do with being poor. Do you recognize this girl? Liu Ruyan, a genuine top scholar, already recommended for grad school by junior year. Her character is flawless. If she liked my son, I wouldn't care if she didn't have a penny. But someone like you, you're just bad luck. Ah, Kao quickly added. Mom, it's just a comparison. And right then, Zheng Kaiyun finally saw her. Liu Ruyan, standing right beside me behind the crowd. Liu Ruyan looked her straight in the eye. She took a step forward. She looked poised and graceful. She looked at her calmly. In an instant, all the color drained from Zheng Kaiyun's face. She turned and ran away, stumbling. I recorded the whole thing. I even delivered a final blow to Liu Ruyan's mother. Back then, you said I was dead set on destroying your daughter. Consider it done. Just doing my bit to help out. No word from Zheng Kaiyun for a long time. But news of Liu Ruyan's mother came quickly. Zheng Kaiyun had bled her dry of every cent. The video of her screaming in the neighborhood went viral again. In the video, she cursed Zheng Kaiyun for being an ungrateful wolf. She said she'd always protected her, favored her, and even covered up for her. When she went to the stepfather's hospital, and his condition worsened, she had intentionally driven away the caregivers. She'd turned a blind eye just to compensate her eldest daughter. She asked Zheng Kaiyun, "Isn't it enough?" Zheng Kaiyun said it wasn't. She was still 300 short for her online loans. She even snatched her mother's living expenses for the month. "Mom, don't you love me most? I just want to move and start over. If Liu Ruian can snag a rich guy, so can I. I was just careless this time. I'll definitely succeed next time." This was her retribution. The neighborhood was as lively as New Year's. Everyone was filming. Nobody wanted to call the police. The apartments her mother rented got cheaper and cheaper, but she still couldn't make ends meet. She had never worked a day in her life. She found cleaning jobs too exhausting. She even tried to sue Liu Ruian, claiming she wasn't fulfilling her duty of support, but Liu Ruian had no source of income. She submitted evidence that she was a full-time student, planning to finish university, get a master's, and then a PhD. Roughly calculated, that would take another 10 years or so. How could her mother wait that long? She came to Liu Ruian's university. She started calling her by her nickname again. Ever since Zheng Kaiyun arrived, she had always called her by her full name. She never called her little Ruian anymore. "Mom only has you left," she wailed at the bottom of the dormitory building. She cried to every passing student. "Mom really only has you. Liu Yunyunyun has changed. I'm truly at a dead end now. Can you really just watch me die, right here at your school?" She droned on about her miserable life. Right as she was getting into it, a basin of water was splashed down from the second floor. "Oh, Auntie, I am so sorry," one girl shouted. "Sorry, I didn't think there was a person down there. The school's standards are getting lower these days. Letting just anyone in. We really need to complain to security." Then, Liu Ruian walked out. Her mother's eyes lit up. The scene went silent. She walked toward her mother, passed right by her without stopping for a second. She walked right past her, not sparing a single glance at the onlookers. She let out a long sigh. Her mother clearly didn't understand why Liu Ruian had become like this. She chased after her carefully, looking pitiful, just like her daughter used to. The old Liu Ruian used to numb herself with illusions, dreaming that her mother's love was constant. But in reality she had been abandoned long ago. She used to dream everyone liked her, that she had so many good friends. She tried to greet everyone and talk about anything. But in reality, she was always bullied and mocked. Now, she had crushed all those illusions. Liu Ruian said, "Since you're sick, I can call the mental hospital. Family members do have that power of commitment." Her mother had threatened her with those words countless times. Now, that malicious bullet fired years ago had circled back, hitting her right between the eyes. Her mother froze in her tracks. The rain started falling harder. I stood there with an umbrella, watching Liu Ruian approach step by step. That umbrella from years ago had long been repaired. The memory of Liu Ruian, chasing after her mother with it, was starting to fade. Her mother looked at the umbrella, and suddenly shuddered. She recognized it. It was that one. The one her daughter had brought to her in the rain. Even after being beaten, it was a child's most sincere, most unconditional love. She looked at the quiet, silent Liu Ruian, and tears suddenly welled up. Genuine tears this time. "Ruian, Mom was so foolish." She tried to step forward. Liu Ruian didn't look back once. Some damage can never be repaired. Scars remain, and malice cannot be erased. Wounds heal, but the pain should not be forgotten. The water spilled from the uneven bowl is gone forever. A long time later, when Zheng Kaiyun came back for the 5th time to ask her mother for money, her mother finally snapped. She actually called the mental hospital and had Zheng Kaiyun committed. After she was released for lack of funds, an enraged Zheng Kaiyun did the same thing, sending her mother in as well. Zheng Kaiyun was broke and couldn't handle actual work. She came up with a great idea. She started live streaming, figuring hate watching is still views. She'd broadcast all the evil things she'd done. Plenty of people cursed at her, but the traffic was actually pretty good. However, after a few days, her account was banned. She vanished once again. The last I heard of her was when Zheng Kaiyun called my phone. Liu Ruian answered. Zheng Kaiyun had lost everything gambling. "Lend me 300. I'll definitely bounce back. Even 30 is fine. Think of me as your matchmaker." Without me, how would you have known Lu Ruyan? How would you have made him fall for you? It's all thanks to me. Actually, I've liked him for a long time, Liu Ruyan said, then hung up. I silently turned my head. Was that just to trick her, or the truth? Even if it was a lie, I want to hear it again. I sank into the sofa, pushing away little Willowleaf's face, as he tried to squeeze in. Are you going to tell me here? Or should we go upstairs and take our time? The warm sun was like frost, falling in dappled layers of light from the window. Her eyes were bright as lamps. She smiled gently. It was peaceful and beautiful, brighter than all the lights in the world.